I'll be there in a minute, folks. I'll be there in a second. And I'm here. Okay. Let me get set up here. Hello, everybody. We're going to give it a little bit of time here so we can get... Oh, it is 7:30 already. Okay. Let me get situated here. All right, we're going to be doing the shepherd. This is week number 7, I believe. And we'll have 2 more weeks after today, and then that will be the end of our series here. As you can tell, we've gotten this much done already. We've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces done. And now we're going to start on the little guy. Okay, so let's start here with this is very similar to Mary and Joseph. It's about the same, but it's a little bit different because we have to put a shepherd's staff, him holding one. All right, this is the little bit larger one. This is the one I did today, so I could get an idea of how to teach it. Okay, so let's start. What we're going to do is we're going to come down and we're going to figure out where the top of the hat is. Okay, so I'm going to kind of measure it from where I have it on this one. I still haven't figured out this in and out stuff with the camera, so I'll try to be as non-movable as I can be here with it, so it won't go in and out so often. And I'm going to mark this down here. Now, again, we're going to measure it with our finger, whoops, leaning up against it like this. And there's one mark, and then we'll do the other mark. All right? And then we're going to have another mark in the back here, maybe a little bit lower. Should be a little bit lower than that one on the other side. Okay, so now we're going to make like an S shape, a very thin, come out a little bit like this, and like I said, it's very hard to get the two together. Hello, Justin, and hello, everybody. I see everybody's popping in. Hello, Jack and Jenny. And that's my family, folks, up in Canada. I want to thank those that have followed me in London, in England. I was surprised to know there's some people there watching, and also in California and Canada. So it's pretty neat to be able to do that with everyone. Okay. I know a lot of you said that you want to keep going with the live classes, and you gave me some good ideas. If you have any other ideas of things that you would like to see done, let me know. You can do it through text message, or you can do it through, through my email. Either way. I did get, it is harder to get the new tool. What I'm doing here is I'm just matching these corners up right now, just like we did with the other 2 people that we created here. Let's see if that's a little bit lower. That's not too bad. Okay, so we're going to try to draw a lot of this on right away so we know where to go with our cuts. All right, so I'm going to try to put where his arm's going to come, this part right here, okay? This part right here. We're going to put all this in because we have to put the staff a little bit into the hat. So we don't want to cut the hat all the way across because then we'll lose the top of the staff, as you can see here. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out where to go here. Hang on just a second. Kind of did this quick today, and so I had an idea where to go. All right. Maybe a little bit further. Okay. And these are the feet. You want it about a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, or 3/8 of an inch over, and then go, try to measure it the same distance on each side. Okay. And then we're going to match that with a little bit of a curve there. Not much of a curve, but this will be his hand down here, okay? And we're going to go straight up, straight, because this will be the staff part. And we're going to bring that around like this. Well, let me bring that over a little further. It's kind of hard to see it from where I'm at here. I'm sorry, I'll try to keep this in view. I can't see it through the camera. I have to look at it. Okay. Alright, so that's really what we're looking to do. And then we're going to put his hand down here. His other hand underneath here. This goes all the way across, okay? And then there's a little piece right here. Those are going to be his hands. After we get done here, we're going to make this a little bit of a curvature here. Alright. And let me see how much further up that is compared to what I did here. Let me do it from here. Okay. Sometimes when you do one ahead of time, you can usually measure. I was going off of this, but it was bigger, so I had to compensate, and that's why I had to do one ahead of time, so I knew exactly what my room was here with a smaller piece. When you do things smaller, sometimes it is more difficult than doing something larger, but the larger pieces will take you longer. Okay, so that's kind of what we're at here. Okay, this should come down a little bit more. There we go. All right. Now, here's the feet on the back, so we need to put a little bit of a heel on the back here, as you can see. So we're just going to follow this around and just put a little bit of a line, a curvature line, like that. Okay? We're going to do the same thing to the other side. And alright. So really that's all we're going to do right now. Okay, we'll worry about the nose and the cheeks and stuff and the mustache and the mouth a little bit later. But the first thing, of course, we always start with, and I'm going to start not right on the line, but right above it. Okay? And I'm going to push in, and I'm going to take the top part out first. Just like so. Now we're going to go over here. You want to be careful because you don't want to cut it into the staff. Alright? Whoops. Going from the underside. There we go. Almost made a boo-boo there. Okay. Right up to your staff there. Okay? And you're going to go to the back side and do the same thing. And also on this side. You're going to follow your line. You're not going to go across straight. You're going to follow the line. It gets a little bit up. Okay, very good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the V-tool. Now I want to explain something about the V-tool. This is our new V-tool that I picked up, and I picked it up. Of course, these things are made in China, and a lot of times when they're made in China, they're horribly not sharp. Okay, so I ordered 12 of these from a company and waited for them to come in. Now it's a little bit smaller than my V4, the 4.5. This is like a 3.5. I have a Dockyard that's a 3. This is a 3.5. The wings aren't that long, but I had to reach each and every one of them. It took a little bit of time to do that, and I'm going to use that today to show you how well this works. And this is the same price as the other ones. These will be $25 as well as the other ones, and you know the other ones are also coming from China. So all these blades that you see on on the internet, a lot of them are coming from China. And some of them aren't really bad. I mean, some of them work out really well. So this is my first time using this, so I'm going to show you how well it cuts. There we go. Nice and easy. Okay. And I don't want to really go that deep, but that works really nice. Now you only want to go up to the staff there, and then you're going to take your knife and you're going to cut that out. And you're going to pull that back a little bit, just like that. So as you're taking this thing out, if it doesn't free, don't pull it. Just go back and keep cutting it until it comes out. There we go. And then we're going to make a little V cut here, and we're going to just slice that out, just like that. All right. Then we're going to go to the back side here. We're going to cut this out. And we're going to cut this one out. Boy, that really cuts nice. All right. So that's as far as I want to go right now, because what I want to do is I want to take the knife, and I'm going to score this a little bit more. I don't have to go too much deeper than what I did with the V-cut, but I'm just going to cut this out with my knife. Just do a nice little clean cut. Make it just a tad deeper. All right. And the same thing over here. We're just going to go up a little and just cut that out. All right. Now we're going to take our little V tool, and we're going to just do a little cut here. Not real deep, just right up above that line. All right. And we're going to do one below that line. Okay, we're going to stop it right there. All right, we're not going to do it really, really deep. All right, we're going to take our little V tool, and we're going to follow this line right around. Now I'm going to turn my piece when I do it. All right, just like so. Well, I'll clean that up a little bit there. All right, and the same thing here. You're going to just cut it out a little bit. You're going to just try to follow that line just with the right with the corner of your V tool. You don't have to do a lot there. And you can also use a gouge would actually work better for those corners. Let me see if I have mine here. Yeah, I have a wider one here. Let's see if this will work. That's a little wide, but I can at least do from one side to the other and push it in and be able to maybe take that out and have a nice clean cut. Let's notice I'm just putting the edge in, nothing more. Now I'll take my little knife and I'll just try to scoop that out a little bit. All right, just like that. And I'll clean that up a little bit later. Of course, this has to go down and around. Let's do that really carefully on the outside of the line. You can always bring it in, but if you go in too far, you can't correct that. Okay. All right, there you go. So that's the staff. We're going to go here and we're going to do the bottom part of the beard. And I'm only using the very little edge of the tool. It will go in a lot deeper if you want it to, but a lot of times I don't go much deeper than what I did on the top anyway. So the wings, if you're going to take if you're doing really big stuff, then you want a wider piece here at the top. If you're doing small stuff like what we're doing now, you don't need it that big. Either a V3 that I have, 4.5, or the 3.5. I'm going to call this a 3.5 because it's really not a 4. They told me it was a 4, and I looked at it and I thought, well, that's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. But that's just, I didn't know what I was going to get, to be honest with you. I was just trying to find something else I could replace some of the tools that I can't get anymore from the supplier I was getting it from. So we're just going to cut that out. All right. We're going to cut this out. And that looks pretty good. Let's do this little part in the back with his foot. Welcome everybody. I'm glad everybody showed up, or a lot of people showed up. Like I said before, we only have a couple more weeks after today, and I'll explain that at the end, what we'll be doing. All right, so really we have pretty well everything but the hands, and we got the bottom part of the staff done. So we're going to work on the hat first. The hat has this rope look bandana around it, and it's not too bad. So let's get one of my knives here and let's start chopping this out. Okay, there we go. Oh, this is a nice piece of wood. Cuts beautifully. Now I'm going to look at the top as I'm doing this. I'm scooping it out from where the bottom part of the hat is, okay? And we'll do the back side. Alright, now the other thing I have on this, it's a bit of a slant at the top of the hat. So we're going to go straight across. Looking at the profile side, we're going to go straight across. I'm going to try to have it more oval first before I do that. So I'm just looking at the top. If you really want to reference, if you're a beginner, it is good to put and take it from the corner to corner and put a line from corner to corner like this, and also a line from corner to corner like this, and then you'll get a better idea if your piece is straight or not. And I see mine isn't so straight, so should have done that ahead of time. I haven't shown you that before, but I should have, because reference points are a great thing. They just help you to give you a guideline. It's not that it's 100% accurate, it just gives you a guideline. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't know if I have that on today. Let me see. Hang on just a second here, folks. I don't know if I have that on today. Boom. No, I don't have it on today. Okay, but anyway, this is what we have, and so far. Okay, we're going to continue with cutting it across. So we're going to cut it so it's a bit of a slant. Sometimes the thicker the blade is, I mean thickness this way, not thickness across the blade. Sometimes if it's too skinny, it's not as easy to cut across. Notice it's a little bit nicer than that skinnier one to cut it across. So I'm going to get all this rough stuff off. Okay. And I'm going to go down a little bit further. I'm going to look at the top to make sure. And then I'm going to round it. We're going to round it off. So we're going to round this edge off. Alright. And that's kind of what we're looking to do, is round it off as much as you can. I'm going to take some of this rough stuff off while we're at it. Remember, if this rough stuff is on there, it's not going to paint up right. So, and I don't do any sanding on my pieces at all. Just to remind you about that. Hang on just a second. Let me take a swallow of this hot chocolate I have here. That's good. Anyway, yes, it is hot chocolate. It is nothing else. If you were wondering, no, I don't drink on the job. All right. Hang on just a second here. Trying to figure out how to get rid of that, and I don't know how to get rid of that. Let's try that. Oh, that's not it either. Hang on. That's not it. All right. I don't see any of the comments. If you're asking me questions, I don't know why it's not working right now. What I've done differently when I set it up. I'm going to scoop this out a little bit more. I should have said it in the beginning, but make sure you have a carving glove and a thumb guard on. If you're a beginner, it's really important to have those things. All right, so there is our semi-shepherd. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a stop cut all the way around this right now. And we're just going to cut that out a little bit and make that stick out a little bit further. Let's do that again. because it didn't free up like it should have. All right. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. All right, that's where I want it right now. All right, so the back side, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut a little bit off here. And we're going to just, since it's pretty deep already, we don't need to make it that much deeper. All right, there we go. Tomorrow, on Friday, we are in the yellow zone here in Chester County, so things will open up a little bit more. Hopefully, things will get a little bit better as time goes on. All right, now we see the arms here. We're going to start a little bit with the face first. So what I want to do is cut right along, put another stop cut all the way around where his beard's going to be, and we're going to cut into it. Not real deep, but just enough that we can start rounding it off a little bit. All right, that's what I wanted. All right, now I'm going to bring this down a little bit. We're going to scoop this out a little bit more. You notice I move from spot to spot. If I see something needs to be done, I take care of it as soon as I can. All right, we're going to figure out where to put the nose on him. So let's say right there. And I like a big nose on these things, so. It's hard to, might have taken a little bit too much off of there than I wanted with the V-tool, but that's okay. It will all work out. Okay, so I'm going to put a little cut right there, and we're going to come from the bottom up to the nose. We're going to do that one more time, and then we're going to pull the nose out here. And what you want to do, you want to go straight in. You want it parallel, like with your corner when you put your cut in. You don't want to cut it this way. You don't want to cut it out that way. You want to go straight in, just like you're looking at them. All right. So I'm going to stick that in there, and I'm going to turn that a little bit. I'm going to pop that out. There we go. Okay. And there's going to be a little bit more on the bottom here. All right. There we go. That's one side of the nose. Again, we're going to go straight in. I'll take a look at the comments later once we're done with this, and I'll answer whatever I can before I switch it over to YouTube. I usually get it on YouTube within probably a couple hours after this taping's done, this live broadcast is done. If you're on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook under the Carver's Woodshop, or Arlene Zomer, Carver's Woodshop, if you want to be here for the live, when we're on live every week. All right, so let's bring this down a little bit. I'm going to round this nose off, just like so, and take all the hard edges off. What I mean by the hard edges are the square edges. All right, that's what I mean by that. All right, so we got the nose in, got his hat almost done. I need to curve that up a little bit more. There we go. It's always good to stop and take a look at it every so often, and just look at it and see what you think, and if one side might be a little bit off, just to fix it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to round these edges off a little bit right now, and I'm going to get all those square edges off. Okay, hang on just a second. Alright. Alright, so there we go. I'm sorry the messenger part isn't on. The comment part isn't on because I would have enjoyed interacting with you. Let me see if I can get that. Nope, that's not it either. Hang on just a second. Okay, that's not it either. Continue. Okay. I'll stop fussing with it because I can't figure it out while I'm on here. Your feedback was very interesting that I got this past week. If you have any other feedback you want to give me, that's fine. I always like to hear your comments or suggestions or what I can do to do it better for you. Things that I can explain for you. I think what I'll do eventually, maybe one week, I'll tell you how to do your sharpening with my tool. I know I have that on YouTube already, but I'll try to leave it live so you can ask whatever questions you want for that. Alright, so let's start with right here. We're going to cut that out right underneath the elbow. And this comes out over here, okay? You're going to go over a little ways, and this is like his elbow. Okay, we're going to just cut that out. Okay, just like so. Okay, so that's his elbow. You see it? And then we're going to cut this out a little bit more, right, especially right there. And we're going to cut this all out. Just, you know, take the rough stuff off. And we're going to round this thing off a little bit. And we followed this out a little further, a little deeper. There we go. And we're going to take all this rough stuff. We'll fix this up a little bit later. Alright, so that's kind of 1 foot right now. I'm going to take that rough stuff off. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to put a stop cut. And we're going to bring this, well, let's take this out first. Especially underneath there. Okay, pull this out. This is really small compared to this when you have a lot more room to do the feet. It was a little tough to do that with this one because we had to have the arms a little lower than the other ones. The other ones went really more underneath the hat, and we had more room for the feet. Because I had to put a staff in here, I lowered the arms a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and I'm going to just cut a little V cut behind here where the elbow would be. I'm going to recut this a little bit. Okay, and there's the foot. We'll cut this corner out a little bit and round it up. There we go. Alright, so there's the feet. We'll cut all this rough stuff off. Well, the riots are in Philadelphia. They've been in Lancaster, and they've been in King of Prussia Mall, if you're familiar with that, above Philadelphia. We've had, what I heard, they had 700 arrests in Philadelphia. It's just a mess. It really is. It's sad that we're going through this as a country, and you know, it's been, people are really upset, you know, and I can understand why. They have a right to be. But they don't have a right to do all the destruction that they do. That's the part I don't understand, but I guess I don't get that. But anyway, so I cleaned off the rough stuff on the back. I'm going to do the rest of the hat here a little bit. Alright, now we're going to go underneath here. Actually, we need to take the V tool, okay, and we need to cut out the hands a little bit. So we're just going to follow this line right through there up to the top. A little bit of a a curvature. In fact, we're going to curvature that, make a little better curvature there. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to cut this out again and just kind of flush this underneath. This is going to come down and around a little bit on the top. All right. We're going to also cut the sleeves out, so we're just going to put a little V-cut there. And a little V-cut right up to the staff, right there. If it doesn't come out, you're going to take your little knife and you're just going to pop it out there, okay? Since this is part of a hand, I'll show you what we're working on right now. We're working on this part right here. We're going to just take a little bit out of that corner so the sleeves looks like it's hanging a little bit. And same thing over here. We're going to bring this up a little bit, flush this down, and take care of that rough stuff again. And of course you want to get rid of this rough stuff on the arm if you can very carefully do that. Sometimes having a little longer blade helps, or a flatter blade. If it's got a little bit of a curvature like this, it's a little more difficult to do it. But you can get most of it off with that. And then we're going to tuck this underneath, just like that. Okay, we don't want to lose that elbow either. Okay, we can make that a little bit deeper right there. All right, see, that looks good. That looks fine. We'll do a little bit more here in a second. Let's go back over here. This is a hand, so what we want to do is we want to make sure that that staff looks like it's coming out from that other hand. Just like this. And you're going to round it to the bottom of the hand. See? So they look both rounded now. Alright. Even though that's still squared, you're just rounding a little bit. Like I always said, a little bit of a cut can make a world of difference on this. Alright. So that's what we're doing here, and that's fine. Now we're going to round off a little bit more on the... I'm going to make this a little deeper, and we're going to undercut. Because technically the staff would be in front of the sleeve, okay? Because he's got it hanging kind of on the arm, as you can see. Alright. Alright. I'm going to stop there now with the hands and stuff. Let's go back to the face, because we have to put his beard in, and we have to put his cheeks in. And of course there's no eyes, which makes it incredibly easier. When I start doing Santas later, we'll start putting some eyes in and things like that. Alright. So the first thing you want to do is from the nose, from the side of the nose here, you're just going to put a little upside down C. Or a little U. Okay. And you're going to do the same thing. Now it's hard to figure out exactly where I'm measuring, again, as you notice, where it should be. So that's kind of where it should be, and it should be, well, it should be even. It doesn't look even, but let me check that again. 1, 2, yeah, that is even. Weird. Anyway, I take my little V tool again, and what I do is I just take the corner of it, a small corner, and I just take one section out, and I take the second section out, just like that. And then we'll do another stop cut to make it deeper and make it look better. Alright, perfect. Alright, so I'm going to take my little knife and I'm just going to cut around, and I'm going to cut it from the top, from the cheek down into the beard area. Alright, because I want it to look like it's tucked underneath there. Just like so. Okay? Let's see if I can clean that up a little bit. And you're going to do the same thing with the other side. You're just going to do a stop cut. And you're going to bring it down like so. These are all out of the same size that we started with. I forgot to tell you. It's 2 1/4 tall, 1 1/4 across, and 1 1/4 across. Alright, hang on just a second. Alright, now we're getting there. Let me take this back here just to get a better look at it. I'm not happy with how the one side worked out here. There we go. I feel better with that now. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put his beard in, or his mustache, and that just comes straight down. A little bit of a curvature, not by much. And then up here we're going to just flare it out, just like so. Okay, so the rest of it's underneath the staff, so it's not going to look even anyway. So we're going to take this down. And we're going to take it from here over that way. Okay, there we go. With a V-cut, it's so much easier. Again, we're going to do a little bit of a stop cut. And we're just going to trim off that hard edge, that square edge there. And the same thing over here. And the mouth, you want to just push it in really far, both sides. And you're just going to clip it out. Alright, there you go. And I'm going to just take a little bit out first, and I'll put the lip in, because I want that below the mustache. Alright. And now we're going to put just a little bit of a V-cut with my knife for the lip. There you go. Now it's a little crooked, and you can use your V tool for that. I just thought of using the knife, but you can use your knife to do your V cuts too. It won't be as uniform as as your other one, but yeah, that will work just fine. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the band on his hat. So we're pretty well done with the face, other than cleaning it up a bit and putting the beard in and a mustache with the V tool. So here we go. Let's do this. Now, I don't mind curving this down just a little bit. I think it gives it a little bit of, instead of straight across, sometimes I can do that and make it look alright. But and then bring it down and around, and just keep going until you go all the way to the other side. Try to match it up. There we go. Alright, and then the other one's going to come up above it, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so. Alright, usually when you get your first one in, you can usually follow the second line just by going by the first line, if that makes sense. Okay? Now, because it's a little higher, I'm going to go below this line now, because it's a little bit higher than I wanted it to be. I just take my V tool and I go all the way around. Thanks for those folks that have sent photographs of their finished stuff. That's really neat for me to see. Some of you, I mean all of you, have done a wonderful job. Keep at it. A lot of you are beginners, which I am really surprised how well you guys are doing. It's excellent, excellent work. Okay, so there's the first one. Now, because this line's a little high, I'm going to go right below it, and we're going to just try to keep the same distance going around. You notice I have my thumb on my piece. I usually do that because it really controls your V tool. you can't do it like this freehand. You have no control over it. You'd be hitting your hand and cutting yourself up and stuff. Not saying you can't slip this way, you certainly can. But sometimes I put my other thumb against it to keep it from going further. And if you have this wrap that I use, it's kind of sticky and it prevents you from sliding off your carvings and stuff. So it's really handy to have. Okay. All right. So that's a little off. But let me see if I can fix that a little bit from back here. Okay, there we go. All right, so what you want to do is you want to cut from the bottom up, just like so. Now, normally what I do is I make another cut, stop cut all the way around. There's two nice things about putting the stop cut in. When you go to paint it, it won't bleed a lot of times into your other colors. If you notice, he has a white cap. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Oh, wow. Hang on. Having a problem with the camera here. This one, Joseph has a blue cap. The shepherd has a white one. So, you know, when you go to paint them, you know, the shepherd has a nice little white. And I always saw shepherds with a white cap on it. So, it will keep... When you put the brown on, or the burnt sienna color, it will keep it from bleeding into another. If you put a little bit of a stop cut, a little bit deeper, and you don't go all the way down to it, it helps that. One of the secrets of painting is to load your brush and work towards your edges, not from your edges to the center, but from the center of whatever you're painting to the edge. That will help you from having stuff bleed into each other. I know I'm not doing any of the painting or suggestions of how you should paint it. Everybody's painting it a little different. Now I'm going to take this corner off here a little bit. Alright. We're going to trim this off a little bit more. Alright, and we're going to do the same thing with the top portion. We're going to take this and we're going to... And so we're in about 45 minutes already. We should be done here a little bit. Not too much longer. I'm going across a little bit, but that's alright. So I'm trying to give it a look of, let me bring this closer. I was petting the cat, and I see there's a cat here. And the cat outside, my cat Minnie. I was outside carving the other one today. It's been really cool here. It's not been really hot lately, but it's coming, I hear. So I think it's in Chicago. It's warm now, and we're going to be getting the same stuff. All right, so there you go. All right, and so let's go back and let's round and clean up our little staff here. Now, if you want to make this a little deeper, you can. That's fine. If you want to make it stick out a little bit more, you just have to put a little bit of a deeper cut and a tighter V cut in it. Here, you know, you're going to have to take a little bit of time. You use the point of your knife to go all the way around and stick that if you don't have the little gouges to pull that out, okay? And you don't want to do too much this because you have very little to work with it. So, you know, I just kind of round it off. And when you paint it, it will definitely stick out, okay? So we're done with that. Now with the hands, this is the other thing. We need to put a little V cut. I'm going to do it with the knife. I'm going to put one V cut right there for the middle, for this part of the finger, okay? Not the middle finger, you know what I'm talking about. And one little cut there, all right? And one little cut there. This is how you can do the V cut with the knife. If you try it with the V tool, you might chip something out. And I kind of do a little bit of a slicing motion. It works really well, okay? There you go. There's his hands wrapped around, hanging on to this staff, all right? So that's all that's done with that. I'm going to clean this up a little bit more. Oh, I've got to do his feet yet. I forgot about that. me hurry up and do that for you. It's the same as we did with the other two. I take the V tool and let me clean this up a little bit. That's too many markings there. There we go. What you want to do is just take your V tool and you just want to do a very thin, small piece going across all the way, okay? And there you go. And then you want to do 2 lines on the side. One in the back, one in the front. And you want to do the same thing over here. Just a small little V cut across. Maybe 1/8 of an inch, no, 1/16 of an inch from the bottom because it's so small. You have so little to work with down here. You know, if you just want to do this portion, put the feet in, you don't need to put the side sandal on. You don't have to do that. So if you feel more comfortable not putting the 2 on the top here, that's fine. You know, and then what I do is I go back and I just clean it up a little bit. Make that sandal stick out a little bit more, and then round this off. Take these edges off the square portions here. Right here I kind of go in a little deeper and I just notch a little piece out just like so. Okay, so it looks a little deeper, and you can recut this a little bit with your knife. If the V tool doesn't do it small enough for you, you can always just do it with a knife. Whatever you want to do. Alright, and then here again, if you want to use a V tool, you can. You can also use a knife. I put one in the middle. I put one here. Usually I try to get 3 in here, but I'm only going to put 2 on this one. There's just not enough room. Okay. And here's the other toe. Alright, see? You don't need much to have something stick out. Alright, so far we're almost done. The next thing, now you can clean up the sandal a little bit. Like I said, you can go around and clean it up quite a bit if you want. But the hands are done, the arms, the staff is done, the face, it's not quite done. So we're going to use our V tool again, and we're going to, let me do this first. Again, I take all those square edges off wherever I see them. And then I try to make it look like this beard is underneath the mustache. Alright? And same thing over here. Alright, that looks fine. Alright, then you take your little V tool, and we're going to do first the hat. Where I only go across every, like, I space it out, and I just go to an angle so it looks like a rope. Alright, so. Okay, the size of this one is going to be roughly the same angle. It's 90 degrees, I believe, or 60 degrees. And then it's not really tight. I just had a question here. Let me go back. The V tool, I would say it's 3.5. It's a little bit bigger than the Dockyard, and you know, it's a little bit smaller than the other one. But the V4, I'm not going to be able to get those. Those are done as far as I'm concerned. I have maybe 2 or 3 more left, and that's it. And then I'm going to have to go to these anyway. So, alright, so that's how you did the rope part. Now we're going to do the mustache and the beard. Let me clean that up a little bit more. I'm not happy with that. Alright, so we're going to take our little V tool and we're going to just put a little cuts in here. Okay, that's going down on one side. Okay, we'll go. Usually I like starting at the top. That's the direction I go. Yeah, this one works. This little Beetle works really nice. I don't like V-tools that are too narrow, meaning this portion here. If it's too narrow, you can't cut in it right for some reason. I've had a couple of them that were narrow, and I didn't like it at all. I like the angle this one is. It's definitely much easier, much nicer to cut with. And the nice thing about the smaller one versus the larger ones, you can get into smaller areas, like what I'm doing now. When you have something with large wings, sometimes it hits up against stuff and it's not as easy to do it. So I'm going to start from the top again, and we're just going to go straight down. And then I turn it around and go to the arm, because I don't want to dig into the arm at all. Okay? Same here. I'm going to dig down into the arm a little bit and try to crisscross and come up. Okay. And folks, I think that, oh, no, that's not it. Hang on, we're not done yet. In the back here, I have a little bit of a fold in the back, so all I do is take the V-tool and I do it a little bit at an angle. One and 2, 3, and 4. Okay, for the folds. You can take those little edges off if you want and make it a little more rounded if you like. That's up to you. And then we take one off here. We're going to just do a little bit of a scoop. This will give us a guideline to give it a little bit of a fold in his hat. Then you take your other tool and you bring it right up like this, and you go from the bottom up, just like this. Okay. Okay, if you're asking questions, I'm not seeing all of them. I'll go back and try to answer what I can individually on the comment section. All right, so there's your little fold. This is what your little one should resemble anyway. And here's the one I did earlier today. So now I have 2 of those, and this is the color of it. So if you need a good look at what the color should be on it, this is what they should be. Let me show you what we're going to work on next. Let me see what's all here. Oh, I don't think I have the other 3 wise men here. Hang on just a second. Okay, we have an angel. I think we'll do the angel next week. Okay, a goofy looking angel. But what I did on some of these, let me bring this up. What I've done on some of these with this, I put a little shelf on the back so the angel can sit right on the back of the, instead of sitting on the top, because it won't set up right unless you have a way of doing it. But if you put a pin in and then put it in, you can have it sitting upright. Okay, but I usually have a little shelf in the back, and when I sell these, I usually put a little hole in behind where the star is, a little screw that you can screw that piece in later, and that is what I'll add to these when I make these. I know I still haven't gotten around to it. I know 7 weeks I've been telling you I'm going to make these things. I just haven't gotten around to it. A lot of other things have gone around here at the farm, and things I had to fix and all that. So I've been kind of busy with other things. But we'll do the angel next, and then we'll do the 3 wise men. But the 3 wise men will be done in one section. And it's very similar to what we already have. It's just going to be, the top's going to be different, and what he's going to be holding is different. One's a little bit of a jar, or like a wine bottle. The other's more of a round, and this one's square. So we'll do one of these, and then you can mix whatever different colors you want on him. That will make it different as well for the 3 wise guys. So we'll do the angel next week. I think we'll get this one out of the way. This is a little bit more work. We'll see how long it takes, but we don't have any feathering to do or anything like that. A little bit on the hair, you know, I see I've missed a spot. Interesting. Anyway, so we'll do the angel, and then, you know, after 2 weeks we'll have this whole set completely done, and then I'd love to see a complete, what you get done. That's a complete set. I hope this has been helpful to you. I'll look back at the comments when I get back off of this and I start loading this onto YouTube. I'm sorry of the in and out. If any of you are computer experts and can call me or text me, I would appreciate an answer to a couple of questions. And maybe you can help me with this constant blurring that I can't get rid of. I set it on the camera, but when I go into Facebook, it does not lock in. And it makes it much more tougher for me to do my DVDs. So they'll be a little bit blurry when I do the DVDs. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining me again today. And I hope you had a nice time watching this guy. Everybody be safe. And we'll see you next Tuesday night at 7:30. Take care. Bye-bye.